So you obviously grew up an athlete.
Yep.
So this seems like a natural transition because you've been working out your entire life, so why not continue to do that?
Maybe not my entire life.
Not entire life, but
yeah, as an
for
athlete,
a long time.
Yeah, as an athlete, you definitely get more into training and working with trainers. Obviously, as you get higher up, minor leagues, closer to the big leagues, you have to be at the highest level and you have to perform at the highest level. So you want to work with some of the best trainers. So I worked with some of the best trainers over the years. I mean, you learn a lot. You learn a lot over the years. And honestly, you're going to pay a lot of money, over $1,000 to work with these trainers every month. And so I kind of got to the point where I learned a lot. I wanted to do my own thing. And so I started collecting equipment. I would go to the beach and I would have my friends come out and work out with me.
Yeah.
And then I had, I met who turned out to be my business partner. He asked me, hey, what do you do for fitness? Obviously you're in shape, you're an athlete. And I started to tell him, and he said, it sounds like F45. And so I was like, what is F45? I've never heard of that.
Right.
The only F45 was up in Land O'Lakes. And so I was like, sounds interesting. Orange Theory did really well in the Tampa area. There wasn't any other F45s in some of the best markets. And so we went up and took a class in Land O'Lakes and loved it. I was like, this is exactly what I pay trainers a lot of money to do.
Right.
This is exactly how I train. And it's scientifically one of the best ways to train for obviously longevity, for energy, for health. There's a lot of benefits to it. So
when you say that, it's F45, it's kind of self-explanatory here, the F, and then 45 minutes of workout. Functional
the F,
training for...
Functional, right. The F stands for functional, 45 minutes. They're all low impact functional movements, just at a higher intensity. And obviously, again, we don't want the pounding on the joints. You don't want the injuries that are long term, but you do want to elevate your heart rate. And obviously, again, there's a lot of benefits to, hey, sleep better. You get more energy. You get the dopamine release. You just feel better. And
so it's kind of a team building area too. You're doing it with others. You're challenging yourself, but in a group setting.
It's a group setting. Yeah, it's a group fitness studio. And one of the coolest things that I really didn't expect and I didn't know how cool it was going to be was the community aspect of it. And so you develop a lot of relationships with other members. You get to know people, obviously, and you see them out, and then you talk about, hey, the workout, hey, I like this one, I didn't like that, events that you have going on, and so you kind of build that little community. And that part of it has been really cool. It's been really fun to see the transformation of people and the impact you have in their lives.
We'll get video at some point, but walk us through a class here because you've got stations set up, it looks like, but also some high-tech equipment too. Yeah,
obviously you have the TVs on the front of the class. We have trainers, typically 1 or 2 trainers in the class, depending on how many people we have in those classes. But the TVs are really cool because they'll show you what movement you're going to do at each station. And then the days rotate, right? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be more speed agility cardio. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday will be more strength. So you're lifting heavier. You're obviously trying to build more muscle. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're trying to burn a little bit more calories, burn more fat. And Saturday is a hybrid. Does an hour long. Saturday's an hour long workout. So that one's a little bit more intense. Typically, we don't like to start people on a Saturday, right?
F45 plus.
Yeah,
on
plus,
a Saturday.
Right, on a Saturday, exactly, plus 15 minutes. But it is really cool because usually a lot of people come out on Saturdays. We get slam jam classes, and it's a lot of fun.
So is it for people, you obviously are an athlete, so you came in good shape. Not everybody is coming off, the MLB bench. So how do you work yourself up to this? Is this for everybody?
Yeah.
For people at all levels?
Honestly, so what's really cool is I remember doing the classes for the first week, and I was working out with a 55-year-old woman, and she was getting, and literally the same station, and she was getting a good workout, and so was I. Because it's low-impact functional movements, like, hey, I have to bend over, I have to squat, I have to lunge every day and picking up stuff, I had to pick up my daughter, push, pull. A lot of those movements we do in everyday life, this is what the program is based around. And so, again, for new people, for me, I always just try to get them to say, go slow. It's easy to get excited, and once we start bumping the music, it's easy to go hard. Yeah. And then you kind of hit a wall. So I always tell people, go slow, get used to the movements, and make sure you have fun, right? Right? So you want to have fun. It's a really good way to obviously get a workout in. It's the most fun way to work out, I think. So yeah.
But you're competing with yourself. I guess that's the good thing too.
I think you compete
do
with
it
other
on your own
people.
level. Oh yeah.
You know, so I get my buddies to come out sometimes, and we'll be in the same station, and so you kind of like push each other a little bit. So that aspect of it is pretty
fun too.
Yeah, it's pretty fun
for those with the competitive nature. What? How many people are typically in the class?
So it ranges. I would say average we're 12 to 15. Max classes we can hold 36.
Oh wow. Okay.
You know, I mean, it really depends on the time of day,
right?
Which day it is, obviously what's going on. So yeah, I mean, again, you know, get 15 people in here and bumping music. There's a lot of energy. But
a little something for everybody. So anybody watching at home who hasn't tried it out, anybody can try.
Anybody could try. I think so. Yeah. I think people get a little scared.
Right.
Where like they see a lot of people working out and they're like, oh, that's too hard. It's too hard for me. I don't think so. I think you just kind of have to just get in. Just start somewhere. You know, just start with the movement. You know, it's not like you're gonna have a trainer yelling at you. You're like, get out. You know, like no. No, it's not. It's not. It's like, hey, come in. Let's you know get your process started. Let's get you some good habits, right? Get you moving, and enjoy it. And then I think once that happens, you start to build those habits, and then obviously you start to see the results over the long course. Now,
some people will come, I'm sure, almost every day, but what's the average goal when people sign up? 3 days
three times a week? Yeah.
Okay.
About 3 days a week is what we shoot for, 4. Really depends on like your goals and what else you have going on, right? Like obviously you like yoga.
Right.
And so we're like,
try
hey,
it.
yeah, right? Like, so it's a balance,
right?
And so we're like, okay, do yoga once or twice a week, and then F45 3-4 times, and man, that's a great routine. Yeah,
good way to get yourself into something active, no matter what, and pushes you. So this is, you're saying, the 6th location now?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, in the matter of, we opened our first location 2020, which we were set to open in March 2020, obviously.
Yeah, great timing.
Yeah, good timing. Yeah, unfortunately you can't time that. And so we grew really fast. Fortunately, we have a really good team. We've had really good people around us to lean on and help us grow the studios. And yeah, it's been a really good learning experience.
So how did this come to be when you were still playing? Were you kind of looking to the future and how you wanted to transition out of baseball?
Totally, yeah. So I was fortunate enough to play long enough to where I was like, okay, as a player, you start to see the light coming at the end of the tunnel. And so you're like, all right, what am I gonna do next, right? And I always liked business, I always liked real estate and finance, and always wanted to get into that aspect, always enjoyed fitness, obviously. And so it was kind of like, all right, this seems like a really good fit. Fortunately, I had a partner who was operating partner, so like I was playing baseball, I would wake up in the morning and I would do like work on the computer, obviously handle like finances, admin work, and then obviously he was operating the first 2 studios, and then last year I retired, so I got a lot more involved.
So a little bit more time here, a whole lot more time here.
A lot more time here, yes.
What was it like, going back, because you just said 2020, that was a wild time to open a business for anybody, especially and a place where every gym was closed and people were working out at home. So how did you guys get it off the ground? Yeah,
not the best time to open a group fitness studio,
right?
But God, you just kind of figure it out. You work through it. Like I said, we were set to open March 2020. We couldn't get open. Fortunately, it was our first studio. So if we had like 5 or 6 studios and then we had to close, that would have been such a nightmare. And so we got open as soon as we could. I think it was June, right? Everything opened back up. And then we kind of adjusted. You just figured it out. So we had to like put boxes on the floor. We had to obviously, use all the sanitation. We had to be really careful, spray everything down. But it was just one of those situations you're like, all right, we're in it, like we committed to this, and we kind of had to eat rent for a couple months. We didn't get any PPP because we didn't have any payroll, and so it was just one of those situations we had to wear it and kind of work through it. I think we opened with like 35 members, which was like nothing.
Baptism by fire into the business world, right?
Yeah, for sure. And typically, like a studio, I mean, you're gonna have a couple hundred members. You want to open with 100 plus. And so we opened with 35, and we're just grinding. We're just trying to get it going. Yeah. So it took some time.
But obviously doing very well now.
So yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, 6 locations. Obviously pulled in a million different directions. You're constantly in the studios trying to fix something and deal with stuff. But again, that's why you have a really good team to lean on.
So you're a Tampa guy. It makes a whole lot of sense to invest in the area that you grew up in. But take me back to when you were a kid. You were a big baseball player from, you said, early ages.
My dad had me in the front yard pitching to me in diapers, right? So like I always loved baseball, always loved to hit, always loved to play. Again, that transition as an athlete is really hard, getting away from baseball and something that you do your whole life, and starting something completely new. But born and raised in Tampa, Armwood High School, Florida Southern College, played for the Rays for 5 years. I couldn't really get away from the area for a long time until I got traded, and then bounced around a lot. But I always loved Tampa, always loved coming back here, and I felt like I wanted to make an impact in the area, and this was a really good fit for me.
Yeah. What do you miss the most right now? You said you have to miss the sport. It's a sport that you love, but what do you miss the most about playing?
Yeah, I think, so I told my wife a couple weeks ago, I was like, last year I was playing in front of 40,000 people, and I was on TV, and everybody's cheering for me, and you're making really good money and doing something you love to do. And this morning I was fixing a toilet in St. Pete Gym, and nobody cared. Nobody. You
didn't get the applause.
Yeah, nobody cared. Yeah, nobody cared. My studio manager was happy. She was like, "Thanks a lot." But that aspect of it, where it's like the significance factor of doing something at the highest level, and obviously being looked up to for it, I think is really hard. It's hard to get away from as an athlete.
Interesting that you say it right now, because I think the whole world has focused so much more on mental health now, especially for players too. You see a lot of that with the NFL right now, but would you say that's true for you too, kind of finding your niche it's hard when you're in the midst of it, because even though people are cheering for you, you're also getting booed, and not every team loves you. The opposing team, doesn't think too highly of you typically. So you have the peaks and valleys even as a player, but finding kind of solace in your niche outside of it, has that been difficult?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're starting from zero, right? Like you feel like you're starting over, and you're like, okay, what do I want to do now? And it's almost like an exploration process. I tell some of the other guys, I'm like, listen, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. I asked a lot of questions. I talked to a lot of people, and kind of tested the waters in different areas. And this seemed like it was the perfect fit. But yeah, that's one of the aspects of baseball I don't miss, is being yelled at in the outfield. Hey, you suck, all those terrible things. But it's part of the game. Part of the game,
part of it all. What would you say to other players now that are young athletes and stuff, up and coming? You said your dad used to throw with you in the yard, which I think is a huge aspect. If the parents are pouring into you, or you've got some sort of mentor that sees your talent and is helping to foster that, that's massive.
Yeah, it's a little bit different time. Obviously, there's a lot more electronics. There's a lot more distractions for kids, so I think it makes it a lot harder, because it's so much easier and more entertaining to play a video game or watch Netflix than it is to go outside and really like work on hitting, or work on your craft and develop a skill and be committed to something and sacrifice a lot for it. And so like I came up with video games, but they weren't like today's video games, right? And so I think parents have that challenge of like trying to manage that aspect, and as well as trying to get their kid to really buy in and be interested, and show them, hey, this is something that you have to work hard at. But I think there's a lot of benefits to it. I think kids have a lot more resources nowadays to not only knowledge about like training and nutrition, but even trainers, like you said, like mentors and trainers. Like there's facilities that are out there. Obviously, F45's a really good one. But more sport specific to really help those kids grow and just develop.
Yeah. So you were a Ray for a while. You did bounce around throughout your career, but getting to play for your home team, that had to have been a highlight of kind of your life at this point. One of the peaks of your life.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. You get pulled in a lot of different directions, right? Everybody wants hats, tickets, jerseys. My dad, all the time. Hey,
you got a ticket to the game.
Yeah, I got a friend. Yeah, I love
10 tickets to the game.
Yeah, that's more like it. Exactly. Hey, I got a group of friends that are coming, and I'm like, oh man, you got to learn to say no. know. But we had some really good teams. And so we made the playoffs 3 out of the 5 years that I was there. Some of the most exciting moments of my career were there with the Rays.
Do you have a favorite memory as a player?
I have a few. Yeah, especially with the Rays. There was there's a moment where Garza and Scherzer had a no-hitter each going into like the 6th inning. Scherzer ended up hitting 2 guys, walked a guy, came up with the bases loaded, hit a grand slam to break up the no-hitter for Scherzer, and then Garza went on to finish his no-hitter. That was a really, really cool game. Something that obviously you never forget. But yeah, like with baseball, it was like the highest highs and the lowest lows. And so like in the real world, it's hard to match that.
To replicate it.
It's hard to replicate it. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, again, you know, I enjoyed it. I miss it. And hopefully, you know, I'll be able to get around the game a little bit more this year and you know, be around, just be around the game.
What do you think of this stadium? It makes me immediately think of that because we've been talking before you and I even started this interview, but just the area. Tampa has exploded, St. Pete has exploded. You know, the location of the stadium and are the Rays going to stay long term has been such a topic of conversation.
Yeah. Since I was playing there.
Yeah. What is your, I mean, as a player too, I'm not as well versed in all of the different baseball venues, but people say, oh, the stadium sucks. And, you know, I've enjoyed every time I've gone to a game. It's been a fun experience. But for a player, you've played in so many different venues. What would you say about the stadium and playing there?
I would say it feels a little bit like a convention center. That's the only thing that negative-wise that I had with the Rays Stadium. And more so, I think, like on midweek games when you're playing, you know, the Tigers or something, and you don't have the sellout crowd, you don't have the max crowd. When there's energy in the building, I mean, it's a cool place to play. The challenge with Tampa and having a stadium in Tampa is they have to have a roof because there's a lot of lightning in the area.
Right.
And so if there's lightning, they have to
rain outs.
Yeah, obviously it rains a ton during the summer. But the lightning was really the issue because they would have to shut everything down for 30, 45 minutes and then you resume play again. And obviously it's really hard for a pitcher to do that, shut down for 30, 45 minutes and then, you know, continue on with the game. And so they have to have a roof. And for me, with baseball, I feel like it's supposed to be an outdoor sport where it's like open. And when you go to some of these stadiums, like the Braves is a perfect example. I played in Atlanta in 19. It was so cool just to be outside and have like fresh air and the real grass. And it makes baseball special.
Yeah. Oh, it's America's pastime
exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
So do you think, I mean, right now they're working on a plan, partnering with the Rays, the city of St. Pete, but is that the place to keep it?
From what I've heard, I think they're gonna keep it there. I think there's a lot of incentives. I think they own a lot of the land there and they want to continue developing the land. I think St. Pete is really trying to get on board and like get behind them to incentivize them to stay. Obviously, there's been a few different renderings that we've seen. One of them was down by like Ybor or Channelside area that they have a stadium rendering that came out, which would be cool, right? Like I think they would crush it. I think they would do really well. But I think it's for them, there's so many incentives for them to stay over there. I think that's probably what will happen.
Would you be, I mean, nobody wants to see, I don't know, most people don't want to see the team leave.
No, listen, that would be, for me, growing up here and playing for the Rays and obviously being a baseball advocate, I would be really, really upset if we lost that team. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it did.
What do you think about the future of baseball too? Because the rules are changing too for the game. It's going to change the game. Maybe make it more exciting for fans. I don't know from a player's perspective what you think.
Yeah, a lot. There's been a lot that has changed over the last 10, 15 years. You know, you saw the shift, which really hurt left-handed hitters like myself. And so like that was a really frustrating aspect of the game. They're trying to improve the pace of speed of the game by putting on like pitch clock. Hey, you got to work a little bit faster. Obviously, pitching has gotten so much better. Again, with the trainers and sports specific and teaching these guys, hey, how do you throw harder? You're training to throw harder. That's why these guys are all throwing 95, 96 miles an hour. Some of them throw 100. And so it's so hard to hit because it's like a BB shooting.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
It's like cranking up a machine as fast as it can and just letting it rip. And then as well as like all the sliders and off-speed stuff that they throw. I mean, it's so difficult to hit in today's game. So I think they're trying to make moves. They talked about moving the mound back. I think that's going to be an interesting discussion as the game moves forward, just to kind of even the playing field with hitters and pitchers. I think they do need more action, right? Like people want to see action. They want to see the hit ball, all the diving catch and stuff like that. And so like the whole home run and strikeout thing, I know people want to see home runs, but I think you got to be careful there. So I think baseball is fine. I think it's America's pastime. I think when you go to the game, it's an experience, right? And so the more enjoyable the experience, more memorable, like the more you're going to come back. They just have to do a good job of providing a great experience.
Do you have a favorite player? Did you grow up idolizing?
Yeah, Griffey. Ken
Griffey Jr.
Oh,
I sat next to his uncle on a plane once. I was laughing because he was like, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Ken Griffey Jr. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I had posters on my wall in the bedroom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the guy was my idol for sure.
Huge fan.
Yeah. So and then I got to play against him in Chicago. When he played for Chicago, he flew out to me. I couldn't even talk to him. He was in our dugout. I was too nervous.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh my God. Can
you sign this for me, please?
Yeah, I couldn't even talk to him. I should have asked. I was like, I got nervous. I panicked.
Oh, that's really cool though. Yeah. That's a cool experience. So what about the future of this? We've talked about future of baseball, future for you. What do you see in the next 5 years or so? You're just getting started in the business world.
Yeah, it's challenging, right? Like with the gyms, it's a 7-day-a-week operating service-based business. So there's a lot that goes into it. You're constantly dealing with issues and people issues, and obviously the studios have things go wrong, you're trying to fix them, and so it becomes a big juggling act, big balancing act. I'm getting into the broadcasting side, which I mentioned before.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll look forward to it.
Yeah, a little pre and post for the Rays, do some MLB Network and Apple stuff, pre and post, and so get the foot in the door, stay around the game, talk about the game. That's something I'm really excited about and looking forward to. And then as far as the gyms, like I think it's one of those things, like we're at 6, so we're like, all right, let's
press pause for a second. Yeah.
Batten down the hatches. Let's try to make everything as efficient as possible, and just kind of run these as well as we can.
Well, congratulations on this latest one. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it turned out nice.
Yeah,
it turned out nice. Did a good job with the build out for sure. We're excited.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.